Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise and join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let the record show present are trustees Deleuze, trustee Hamilton Starks, trustee Barnes, and via Zoom we have trustee Cardona. No action was taken in closed session. At this point, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda with one change. We'll be removing action item B, the 2026-2027 service agreement with Power School Group LLC. So I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're going to have to do this via a roll call vote. Trustee Cardona? Right. Trustee Barnes? Aye. Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And I vote aye. I now move on to communications. Members of the public may address the Board of Trustees regarding any special board meeting agenda item during board consideration of that item. Please take note that if you wish to address the Board of Trustees on an agenda item, you should do so when that specific item is called by the board president. In order to speak, we ask that you, or to comment in person, we ask that you fill out a request to be heard card and give it to the board assistant. Your name will be called during public comment agenda, that was easy for me to say, public comment agenda item or during the specified agenda item. Comments are limited to 2 minutes. To submit a comment online via Assembly Gamut meetings, enter your name and email address, and the board assistant will provide your comment to the board. To submit a comment via YouTube, type your comment in the live chat, and the board assistant will read your comment to the board as appropriate. Now is the time for individuals to address the board on items that are not on the agenda. Please note that because it's not an agendized item, we cannot discuss it or take action on it, but do know that we are listening and we'll do our best to try and address your concerns. Is there anyone who would like to address the board on an item that is not on the agenda? Okay, no one present and no one online, so we will go ahead and we will now move forward to reports. And we will start with the Robla Education Foundation.
Did you turn it on, Ramon? Oh, okay, I can't tell. Anyways, short tonight. I'm working on trying to get a flyer out where people can scan a code and start pre-order or paying for fireworks ahead of time. In other words, the certificates in different amounts so that people can start spending their money now instead of not having it at the end of June. Also, as you all know, because you get my emails and you have voting rights on it, that those are the last two grants that we're going to be able to do this year. I want to keep the balance up where right now my balance is around 13,000 after those two checks are made out for the two different grants, one for Robla and the other one for Taylor. So with that, things are moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Robla Teachers Association. CSEA. Superintendent's report.
Good evening. Just a few things to share. I want to say we had a great parent empowerment dinner last week. I thought that our student poets was a great addition to the program, so we're going to continue that. This week I attended I'm part of the CSBA Superintendent Advisory Council, so we met on Monday, and we discussed CSBA's initiative of closing the achievement gap, so more information will come out. Today and yesterday, I had the privilege of hanging out at Bell Avenue. They hosted GLAD training. So we all know that Bell Avenue is a GLAD school, and it was exciting to see the trainers, I'm going to say, deliver a 6-week unit in 3 weeks. So it was like GLAD training on steroids. We had teachers from Bell as well as Taylor attend, and teachers from Sacramento County and Yolo County. So it was really, really exciting. And then they had Kevin Bracey attend today. He had his greatness assembly for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders. So I'm in communication with them and Cindy Lyon to see how we can bring him to our district for the rest of the schools, maybe assembly right before testing. And then next week, I will be attending the California Asian Pacifica Leaders in Education Conference with Ms. Tran from Glenwood and Ms. Cabras from Taylor. And next Wednesday, March 4th, is our Robla District Literacy Night. So please stop by. It will be held at Glenwood from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay. Now we'll move on to board member reports. We'll start with Trustee Cardona. Trustee Barnes.
Just real quick, went to the Parent Empowerment Dinner, and it was a great evening, and I really enjoyed our student poets and also the keynote speaker. He really nailed it this year, so it was an excellent night.
Olivia. Trustee Hamilton Starks.
I too got to go to the Parent Empowerment Dinner, and I thought it was really great. The food was really good. I'm always like super impressed with the food, and so it was really good. And the students are great, and the speaker was great. I always have a really good time. So yeah, that was really good.
And I have nothing to report. I will now move on to presentations and information, and we'll start with item A, the 25-26 Local Control Accountability Plan Mid-Year Update.
Good evening. I have for you, well, do they have these? I have a copy of our infographic, which is LCAP at a glance. This is one of the processes that we use to share with our public where we are, we're in the mid of the year that we're in, 25-26. So just a brief bit of information in regards to this. This is available on our website, as well as it went out to all the families and staff through Parent Square, and I have a copy there for you here tonight, board members. What this highlights is where our funding is at for this year, what our student counts are, pretty much what are our demographics, what do we look like now that we've actually started this school year. Because as you know, we develop each year of the LCAP, we're working on projections, and then in this mid-year update, we're able to give you a little bit more concrete information, as well as starting to look forward into the next school year. So on the front side, you'll have information in regards to what our goals are in the LCAP, our areas of focus, and then on the back, some highlights of some of the things that are happening, as well as an outlook into our district budget. With that being said, we are in year 2 of a 3-year local control accountability plan. And so we are looking forward into year 3. And at this point in time, we aren't seeing that we need to make any major changes to the plan that we have in place. So we write this plan for a 3-year period with goals over a 3-year period. And then each year we revisit that plan, look at our data as we're moving forward towards that end of the 3-year goal, and then our actions and services. So what we are in right now is the communication period, where we are reaching out to our community to get their feedback. We are approaching this in a different way than we have in the past in terms of how we are asking the questions to our community, to our parents, to our teachers, classified staff. And basically, what we're asking them is to give us some feedback on how they feel in regards to how the actions that are currently in the plan are going. What actions do they feel like are really having the most impact? To give us a little more like why they think those actions are having such great impact. Actions that they say are good, but maybe could use a little bit of tweaking. And then when they're looking at the actions that they might feel are a little more ineffective, not that we're looking at to eliminate the action, but why do they feel it's ineffective, and maybe some more feedback again on something that we might do. An example of something that we received so far in one of our PAC-DLAC meetings was, how come you don't have classes for parents of the dual immersion students to learn Spanish? So, which was a great piece of feedback, because then as we're moving forward, that's something we can look at and say, is this something feasible that we can do? Next step for the LCAP is we will create our draft. In the draft, we look at the current data, input that current data, and reflect on how it is moving us towards our ultimate goal for the end of the third year. Once the draft is completed, we'll share that with our educational partners. It'll be posted on our website, as well as a spot for parents and others to input any questions or comments. Public hearing will be on June 11th. And up for adoption to the board on June 25th. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now move on to item B, 2024-25 fiscal audit report.
Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. As you all know, each year districts are required by law to do an annual independent fiscal audit of their books. And the reason this is done is to ensure that the district's financial records are following GAAP and all applicable state and federal regulations. I'm here to let you know tonight that the 24-25 audit has been completed by Wilkinson Hadley King, and they had no findings in terms of internal controls, no findings in terms of federal compliance. There was one reporting related finding in terms of state compliance that had no fiscal impact. It's already been corrected, and state steps have been put in place for it not to be a repeat finding in 25-26. And other than that, that was the only finding they had. And so the report is complete, and we're in good standing with auditors and with state regulation.
What was that one finding?
There was a report that was supposed to have been submitted in October of 2024, and it didn't get submitted by the desired deadline. It was submitted late. I made sure it was submitted by October of 2025, which was right after I started, so it won't be a repeat finding. It was submitted, just submitted late.
All right. Any additional questions or comments?
Just thank you. These things are important because they do help us with our decision making and make sure that everything we do decide is on par. So thank you.
You're welcome.
For all the hard work and all who came before you, of course.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to item C, comprehensive school safety plan.
Okay, good evening. I'm here just to give an update regarding our comprehensive safety plan. By law, each district has to have their school or district site safety plan approved by March 1st of each year. As a reminder, because Robla has a student population of less than 2,500, we are allowed to have one district plan, and that's what we have. And so the components you'll see will of our plan include emergency preparedness, school safety, student and staff wellness, and then community engagement. So just to update, in terms of our emergency response drill, I think I've already shared earlier in this year that we use Raptor as our emergency management system, and we've expanded that for our visitors and contract sign-in. So we will continue to do that. And then later on, we'll talk about our volunteer process. But in terms of AED and EpiPen training, so our staff are trained every 2 years. This year is a renewal year, so you'll see how the school secretaries and PE teachers, they had their training at the November PD, and that would be good for 2027, until 2027. And then the rest of our staff, we will be providing training at our March PD. We are also offering the training to our expanded learning providers. We know that we have more students who are participating in the program, and we also want to expand the access, right? So currently, our equipment, I guess equipment is stored in the offices, and we know that once the offices close, right, it limits access to our after-school providers. So March 9th is our PD day. As soon as we provide the training, we will relocate, or relocate the AED, as well as have access to EpiPen in a location that can be accessed by our after-school staff.
I've talked about this more, and it's probably more been in line with our active shooter training, and I don't know if it's something that should be a part of this plan, but the idea of providing also trauma first aid.
Slide.
Oh, there we go.
Next slide. Okay. And I do want to reiterate that some of our providers did share that their staff might have already received EpiPen training or AED training, right? But they're going to encourage them to participate in ours as well, just so they get the same information of where the location is and what the process and procedures. So, slide. Okay. Let's see. Behavior threat. I have to look. Okay. So mental health. I want to recognize the value of mental health clinicians at our school site. I also want to acknowledge and appreciate the partnership with SCOE, because SCOE has provided us a mental health clinician at each site at no cost to the district. You know, unfortunately, this year, Glenwood staff, the staff that was assigned to Glenwood was reassigned to another district, right? And they have been without a dedicated person up until recently. And the individual that has been assigned is really only available, I think, 1 day a week. And SCOE knows what our need is. So they are looking for a staff that can provide the same service. And I know the staff that was reassigned was bilingual. But we are thankful, and any support that Glenwood needs, if they need one of the other mental health clinicians, then one from the other site will go to Glenwood. In terms of anti-bully and intervention, I want to say our continued partnership with Placer County Office of Education. That's the organization that really provides professional development and support with our MTSS process. And I do want to recognize, as you see, both Maine and Taylor receive certain status. Maine's program was recognized for their platinum status, or awarded platinum status, and Taylor was awarded gold status, and they were both recognized at the annual PBIS conference, which I think I shared earlier in the year. And then psychological first aid, fancy name for trauma first aid. So we will be providing first set of training with our district, school and district secretaries at the March PD, and then we will follow up in the fall PD with our social workers, mental health clinicians, and psychologists, because
Sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
because for that second group, there is a little more, I think, intensive curriculum for that group. So, question.
So what is exactly involved in the psychological first aid? Because when I'm speaking of trauma training, if we're talking active shooters, I'm talking about use of trauma medical kits. Because oftentimes what happens in active shooter situations is individuals wind up bleeding out because individuals there either don't have access to a trauma kit in order to stop the bleeding, or knowledge, or even the knowledge of how to use it. I don't think this doesn't sound like what I'm referring to.
Okay, I will have to get back to you and
Yeah.
and check with American Red Cross.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, let me just look at my notes. Okay, again, if you'll see just updates or what we're doing for emergency preparedness. We are working on updating each site's evacuation plan, right? And I want to be clear, we will not post those online, right? But why? Because we now have schools that are two-story building, right? And some that are one-story. So we want to make sure that we have updated plans to address our new buildings. Let's see. And then in terms of increasing monitor safety drills, our schools are really good, really good at doing the fire drill. I got to give them props for that, right? But we do need to tighten up our other drills, like evacuation drills, shelter in place, those are still things that are conducted. We meet the requirements, but those are still things that we need to tighten up to do as well as our fire drills, right? In terms of Raptor, we are currently using Raptor for our volunteer, any volunteers or any person that comes to the school will go through Raptor, but there's always been some internal discussions of doing a more deeper volunteer, I would say, background check for those individuals who provide more regular support or presence at the school site, right? So we know that Raptor does the initial check, but we require the complete background checks for any individual or non-school staff that goes on an overnight trip, just like the sixth grade science trip, right? But we really have had more discussions when you have a regular individual who might be providing like 3 days of in-class support all year versus, so we want to look more into just Raptor. And then we are exploring off-site evacuation centers. We're still in negotiation with some of our schools' neighbors. And then finally, as I say, the safety plan will be online, but we will not post anything specific to the school site. We don't want to advertise if we had an evacuation where we are evacuation, to the public. Our families will know, we will tell them, but that's not something we want to post on the district website. Okay. Any questions?
Do we do any assessment of, or during the day in progress, like security measures? And I know what our security measures are, but do we ever assess those and make sure that we're in compliance or to our policies?
I guess I would need a little bit more clarification. Now,
Okay.
if you're saying, is there a site, and I'm very much of that site, who is wondering if we can upgrade some of the facilities or some of the things we have in place to better secure our site. And I'll say it, Taylor, I've had some Taylor staff reach out to us, and they've expressed their concerns regarding how the gate is very far from the main office, or farther from the main office than any other school. Is that what you mean?
That's part of it, but one thing is, this kind of goes, it kind of tags on to what Trustee Lewis was saying about the trauma treatment. I was thinking about a lot of times, if something happens on campus, it's usually because someone has tried to get on campus through some way. And do we actually check or assess our campuses and make sure that they're following all the protocols and make sure that we're keeping it as secure as possible? So if we have a protocol in place, do we actually go by and actually check every now and then and make sure all of our locks are locked properly and everything?
If all the doors are locked?
Or whatever.
Or, yeah. I will have to check with maintenance. I will say I know our custodial staff and our maintenance staff do a perimeter, if that's what you're worried, if any of the perimeter is compromised. Do we do that checked, or?
It's a little bit of everything. I say that because I do recall when last time my daughter was at school, whenever I had to pick her up, I always found a way to get in the door.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. We do know that our fire extinguishers are checked every year, but I have to get back to you on that.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Thank you. Right now, we're going to move on to item D, the 2025-26 Expanded Learning Update for Sacramento Start.
Okay, good evening. So the next, oh, come on in. I just wanted to introduce and say the next 4 presentations are our updates for all our after-school providers. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for giving Sacramento Start an opportunity to share with you our mid-year at a glance of what our program is doing to support your Robla students. So for the last 30 years, our program has been working very diligently to make sure that we're closing gaps and opening doors for underserviced students in the Sacramento area. And we've loved our time in the Robla School District. But even though we've been working diligently for 30 years, let's look at what START looks like today at the Robla campuses. Currently, Sacramento START services 506 students across the 5 campuses with an average daily attendance of 460 students a day. That represents 339 families that are partaking in the START program each and every day. Those high numbers reflect both high need as well as high trust in the program. Families return because they see their children growing, they see their children's increase in confidence, and they see academic improvement in their students. But enrollment alone does not define success. What truly matters is that what happens once our students walk through the door. Our outcomes are very clear. START builds confidence, consistency, and a sense of belonging at each and every campus, all of which are critical drivers of attendance and academic success. 98% of our families at mid-year review report improved self-esteem with their students, and 98% say START provides a supportive learning environment for their scholars. And 90% of our families return year after year. Sacramento START is not drop-in care. This is a structured, intentional programming designed around measurable outcomes. And let me walk you through how our intentional enrichment portion of our program goes. Our enrichment program has been designed to support the whole child. That's our children's minds, their hearts, and their opportunities. Tier 1 of that enrichment model is speaking to the mind. Tier 1 focuses on academic and health enrichment, developed to support quality standard number 3 of active engaged learning. This active and engaged learning can be viewed each and every day as our students spend time in each of the 5 programs. They are receiving homework support, literacy enrichment, STEM and project-based learning, and fitness, nutrition, and physical activity. The outcome that is driven by this Tier 1 enrichment is really stronger academic habits, improved grades, and increased student engagement. But students must feel safe in order for true learning to begin, and that is why Tier 2 is essential. Tier 2 of our enrichment component builds on the heart of the children, developing confidence, resilience students. This tier focuses on relationships, emotional safety, and positive behavior systems. Students participate in community circles, restorative practices, character development, conflict resolution and teamwork, and other social emotional skill building. Through this tier, intentional tier, focusing on the heart, we see increased participation, stronger leadership skills, and student voice is evident at each one of the 5 programs. With this clear and defined support on both their hearts and their minds, our students are then free to engage in exploring what their needs are, what their wants are, and what they want to learn. Tier 3 enrichment has been specifically developed to support quality standard 6 of skill building. Here, students develop transferable life skills through hands-on, choice-based enrichment opportunities. Our Robla students are given the opportunity to further build responsibility, communication skills, confidence, and collaboration and problem-solving skills. During this program, we are not just supervising students, we are developing future leaders through all three of these tiers of enrichment. These opportunities are powerful in the moment, but as we move forward, their true value becomes visible over time. And that is seen each and every day when we speak to our students about what this program means to them and what they've gained. And these are just some of the voices of our students from the 5 programs. Our student voices have shared with us that many of our students have participated in START since kindergarten. Through weeks and weeks of consistent, high-quality, expanded learning experience, we have watched our students grow academically, socially, and emotionally. Because START is able to provide these sustained relationships through secure staffing, structured enrichment, and meaningful leadership opportunities for our students, students are not just attending the program, they are building character, resilience, and a sense of belonging. This is a long-term measured impact. We invest in our students day after day, strengthening academics, building character, and developing confident future leaders. And nothing like this happens without our family's support. Captured on this slide are just some of the mid-year voices of our families. We know our students do not grow in isolation, that they grow within their families. And it is through this family voice that we are able to grow and take these families' feedback into consideration as we look at our program quality assessments throughout the year. Our families' voices allow us to gain insight that strengthen our program and further deepens our partnerships and relationships with our families. That level of trust reflects more than satisfaction. It reflects alignment. Alignment between a program, between families, between students, and a school district. START families consistently tell us that START has helped their students with their homework, made their children feel safe and supported, allowed them to communicate in a stronger, more secure manner. When families and expanded learning programs move in the same direction, students move faster forward. And it is through this strategic investment in student success and family stability that the STAR program has thrived, along with the 400 and odd students that we service each and every day. For 30 years, START has remained committed to safe spaces and bright futures for the students we serve. And together, student families, students, schools, and district leadership, we can all build a brighter future for Sacramento and for the students our programs serve. Sacramento START is very much in favor of building a strong foundation of a program that speaks to one student, one family, and one community at a time. Thank you.
Any questions? Just real quick, what are some of the because if I understand correctly, does START provide the academic supports, or do you have partners that you work with that do that?
Currently, Sacramento START offers all academic support, both homework support as well as literacy support, which could look like skill builders, could look like additional SSR time, additional peer community work time, but it is currently all developed through and delivered through START staff.
So
Excellent.
you get like a recommendation, like a teacher's like, oh, like, so John needs help with reading, then you all incorporate that into.
Yes, our program coordinators currently meet with both the principal as well as the vice principals each and every month, and they do interact quite frequently with their school teachers to better support each and every student.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Fine.
All right, next we have expanded learning update for stay after school.
Good evening, everyone. Um, really appreciate the board trustees, Superintendent Chen, Ramon, Alexios, who's not here, and the families for coming in and letting us present and let you know a little bit about the programming that we do in the after school hours and the before school hours. My name is Pooja Shah. I'm the CEO of Stay After School. With me, we have Jurgen Mauricio. He is our site lead who's responsible for making sure that whatever we're presenting, he and his team are actually executing and making sure that the students are learning. So very excited and thankful for him for being here after finishing his part at the school. So I will keep this brief, but there are a lot of slides just talking about what we do, but I have a time limit, so we'll focus on that. The After School is a mission-driven company. We started it 10 years ago with the goal of making safe, engaging after school available. At Robla, we do provide before school programming and after school. A lot of our slides and focus will be on the after school because the morning program is just 45 minutes. It usually consists more of transition. We do have safe space as well as learning opportunity for kiddos, but the transition makes it tough for them to have a full, even 30 minutes of active time focusing on enrichment. But afternoons are perfect for transition. So a lot of the slides that we showed today talks about what we do in the afternoons. As I mentioned, we do AM program at all 5 elementary schools and PM program at Bell, Glenwood, and Maine. And as I mentioned, Jurgen Mauricio, he is our lead at Bell Avenue. And as necessary, we focus on hiring local staff because transportation is one of the hurdles for after school programs. So we focus on bringing on folks that can be here every day and consistent staff. So it's very key in hiring local staff. Our daily schedule looks something like once the school is over, we do check-in, snack time, community time, and then go into homework / enrichment. There's a part of structured play that is key for students to stay engaged and not be bored going from classroom to classroom. So our focus is, again, not only just as we heard, a whole child, right? Our focus is keeping kids engaged, just not their brains, but also physically. And about 5:30 is when things dwindle down and 6 o'clock is dismissal. So by 5:30 onwards, we see students, the student body changes significantly with a lot of families picking up their children. Our program overview, we have created curriculum that is sectioned into 3 big buckets: STEM, arts, and sports. And it has been from fall to winter and now spring session that started 2 weeks ago. We have focused a lot on understanding what kiddos are getting involved in and changing it up. So you will see that in the fall programming, we did engineering lab, where kids were engaged in, the younger kiddos were engaged in doing problem solving, but the older kiddos who understood more about STEM concepts were able to design. And this just gives you a week by week lesson that we have created. Our instructors, our site leads make sure that it gets implemented. And it doesn't talk about just what we're going to be doing, what outcomes they create for children. So this just talks about just going through these rather quickly. It talks about how week after week, maybe there's no way to go backwards. Thank you. So our curriculum is built for 12 weeks. As you can imagine, schools go on for about 40 weeks, 30 weeks, 36 weeks of active curriculum, so 3 12-week chunks. So you can see that engineering, we have 12 weeks of curriculum. Similarly with arts. Arts, the focus is not only on hands-on design like crafts, but we'll also go into origami, which is more towards expressive art is what we call it. So again, with arts, students focused on building animals, designing color fish, and just a 12-week curriculum that goes into details about what we do. And then you can see that continues on based on what kids are actively seeing. We observed that during winter time, a lot of kiddos wanted to stay indoors. That will change as spring comes, the days get longer, but we made sure that our schedule, our curriculum was created in a way where kids were engaged and focused on the activities we were providing, or we would change it up quickly to make sure that it adheres to keeping the kids in the classroom or active with whatever activities are on. So as you can see, another 12 weeks of curriculum with watercolors. And then sculpting was another very popular program. This is where we got to combine arts and STEM, where 3D art was created, and it allowed students to do storytelling, understand form, texture. So again, a lot of focus on STEM plus arts. And in the same manner, we went into origami. So a lot of STEM, a lot of arts, and then sports is something that, or structured activities in the afternoon is what we focus on. This helps with, again, team building, relationship management, sharing. These are some of the key things that we've observed happen when kids play sports. Again, as I mentioned, a lot of kiddos were interested in indoor programming. So we change our curriculum to focus on indoor programming versus outdoor. SEL is a big component. It's not only part of the ELOP requirement, but also part of our curriculum to make sure we're in line to some of the district's needs as we are seeing with kids in keeping them engaged, keeping them active, you know. So it has been the center focus of the curriculum we built. The enrichment rotation for fall schedule was the 12-week increment we showed. And this just kind of summarizes how we created those curriculum grade by grade so that students are engaged in activities focused on their grade group. This also meant that our instructors were trained on these curriculum on a quarterly basis, and families were made aware that these are the programmings that they're getting involved in. Winter programming, again, consisted of feedback. When we understood feedback from what families and students are looking for, we designed our winter programming that consisted of makerspace, everyday science, scratch coding. So these were some of the STEM courses that we introduced just based on survey and results from families. We did drone lab, Play-Doh circuits, and this was really, really popular. And some of the new art courses that were brought on were magnified science, 3D art, just like I was mentioning from the origami perspective. So these are, again, how the curriculum was created for winter, and now we're going into the spring session. So this just tells you how we continue to focus from student, their feedback, train our instructors, and we also have a monthly cadence built now with vice principals where we meet them on a monthly basis, let them know what they're seeing. While they don't give us input on the curriculum, they tell us how the program is doing overall, both for the morning perspective and the evening perspective. So we are able to iterate, address any issues or concerns that families might have. That goes into the managing and preventing behaviors on site. As I mentioned, from the curriculum perspective, as an enrichment perspective, while we're doing really, really well, our focus during our meetings focuses on families and students that are looking for more support. And we utilize some of the trauma-informed behaviors to help the families, but we also need assistance from schools and vice principals while doing so. So our focus continues to stay there. So while we are providing enrichment, the focus is safe program, right? So managing those behaviors is critical as part of our daily programming with the schools. Like I mentioned, we survey parents, we survey kiddos. Parent feedback is more critical because the parents hear firsthand when the kids come home, oh, I like this program, I didn't. So parents consistently praise communication and the supportive environment and report that the kiddos love their program. Other comments we have heard is sometimes no comments, right? So the comments that we have heard, the feedback that is provided shows that the offerings are working well. And specifically when we went from fall into winter, a lot of the programming was created based on the parent and student feedback. Yes, that's it. Questions?
I do. I just am thinking about how much feedback are you getting? I know you're a fairly new program, and so parents are probably still navigating the landscape, but like 5 responses or like 50 responses?
More in the 5. So we send out surveys, and this is something we're seeing across the board, not just with Robla School District, our partners. Families, I think, are very inundated with the amount of communication they receive from, hey, this is what your child is learning, or here's when your child checked in and checked out, to, can you provide us a survey? So when we send out email surveys, we are seeing low 10%. We took a step forward and in December actually started making phone call to families and so on. And that resulted into not a major uptick, maybe about 10% more picked up their phones to actually respond. So we're seeing across the board that I think communication, all kinds of communication for families is just too much. But we do our part. I know Robla School District also set up a parent review feedback. I think it was about a month ago. So I know that parents are being reached out, but our numbers show a low response feedback, both from email and phone call perspective.
And is that the same for START? Like the I'm sorry.
They can't hear, at home, we can't hear you without the mic.
No, we do not find that true. I think the Sacramento Star program has a very robust communication process with its parents, and I think a lot of that has come about just because of the sheer amount of time and the intentional relationships that we've developed with our families, our students, and each of our schools.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments?
You mentioned some of the challenges of the AM program. You have any recommendations or suggestions for that?
I've told Superintendent Chen we should move it to 2 hours in the morning. And that's just something that some families, I think they start work very early. It's not a lot. The enrollment is about quite high, attendance not so much, but we've heard families say, can you start a little early? And that's something that is just a pure opinion, that a longer duration of program would allow kiddos to go into program, but that doesn't mean that they will necessarily show up or parents will actually drop them 2 hours before the school. Sometimes that would mean 6 a.m. for 8 a.m. start. So we are here to serve the families. If there is a ask to go for a longer duration in the morning, we'll do it.
Thank you so much.
Not to put Superintendent Chen on the spot at all. It's just something we talk about.
Looks like there's a question over here.
I had 3 questions. One was, are any of the pictures that were used students from any of our schools? The second question was, what's the distribution of your enrollment between after school and before school? I missed it if it was on a slide. And then I had a question about the slides where it showed the calendar of courses that were being offered, because it looked like you listed a course that was, or like a week that was during winter break. I just want to know like how, like what happened? Like how did that work? Like were the students not offered that week or like just
So question number one, the pictures in the deck are from here. Second question was, sorry, I forget. It was enrollment. So when we started the program, for AM program, we had anticipated 20 students for AM program across 5 schools, so about 100 students. The current enrollment is quite double, so it's about 200 families. Attendance varies based on, again, Thanksgiving versus normal school days, but it's about 60%. Afternoons, we have 80 students for each school. We have not increased enrollment, so about 240 registrations for the afternoon. And the third question was, you saw a week in there, and that's a typo on my end where I put the week when I think it was Christmas or Thanksgiving break. Yeah, winter break. Yeah, we follow the same curriculum across all our partner schools. So when our curriculum manager and training manager is teaching those, the site leads and the instructors adjusted, knowing that this is 12 weeks of curriculum. Some school districts start a week earlier and later. So broadly speaking, 12 weeks, 36 weeks total, 12 weeks, 3 tranches is how we build out a curriculum.
Any additional questions or comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next we'll have the Roberts Family Development Center.
Everybody, how are you guys doing tonight? I just wanted to take a moment. This is my first time being in front of the board. I am Rovina Hamlet, and I am our Special Projects Coordinator for Roberts Family Development Center. I have the pleasure of supporting Ms. Martinelli, who is going to go further in depth in the programming. But I just wanted to make sure I took the time to acknowledge that if you ever see me in the space, I know some of the parents are like, who's the woman standing at the gate making sure it doesn't open? You'll see me sometimes on sites. But just so anybody in the crowd, if you see me on site, I'm just supporting Ms. Martinelli. So I'm going to pass it to her.
The last time I saw all of you, I mentioned that I'm new to the Robla School District, and I was very excited to get started working with our schools, Taylor and Glenwood, and I'm happy to be here today and share some updates and let you know that I'm still very excited. Like, I'm still enjoying my time at these schools, and it's been great. This is a picture of some of our families and some of our kiddos that participated in our science fair this past December. And here are our demographics. We're actually, they're a little bit different. I didn't catch that earlier. We're at 43 at Glenwood because we had a pair of siblings move to a different school. And then same at Taylor, we're a little under 40. And this is some pictures of our kiddos at our MLK March and at their talent show. And these are our primary components in Freedom Schools. We bring Freedom Schools into our school year. Our Freedom School days specifically are mostly our Tuesdays and Thursdays. Our primary component of Freedom Schools is Harambe, which is a Swahili word that means pull together, and that's kind of what we do during that time. I feel like it's a very exciting moment for the kids because they get to be loud, they get to dance, they get to sing, and they don't realize that we're teaching them how to spell and how to work together. Like, I think a lot of times when we're in the classroom, they think it's like, oh, I'm learning, so I'm not going to enjoy it. But during Harambe, they get to do all those same things and get excited about it and not realize it. And then later on, it clicks. They're like, oh, I learned that because of Harambe. And they get to hang out with all the different grade levels that we have at our sites, which at Glenwood, it's TK through 6. And at Taylor, it is kinder through 6th. So they get to hang out with all the grade levels during that and have a great time. And then after that, we have our integrated reading curriculum, which is super important for our kiddos as well, because we give them the opportunity to see a very wide variety of books that have characters and stories that they can relate to. And they get really excited about that when they get to a story that, for whatever reason, whether the character looked like them or it had a similar story to them, they get really excited. They go home, they tell their families, we tell their families, hey, ask your kids what they learned about today. Ask them what they read about today. And our families are really getting really good at getting back to us and saying, like, oh, I asked them, or I didn't even have to ask them. Like, I don't have to ask them anymore. They tell me, you guys read about this, or they told me that you guys are going to do an activity tomorrow that has to do with like some, something that was within our books, within their readings, or that they connected it to their family in some way, shape, or form. So that's very exciting, and I've been getting to see that during the school year, where in the past I had only seen it. That's very exciting. And then our enrichment and skill building activities, we have a bunch of different like clubs, enrichments at our sites, but we've actually kept them very similar at both sites. We have a social emotional learning club, a STEM club, a culture club, and I think I have another slide that I'm with a few pictures and stuff like that, so I'll go more in depth. But all of those have been going great. The kids have been having a lot of fun with them, and they've really helped us connect with them. And then we have our family engagement, which is super important to our organization, and have like building that community with our families. We do that all throughout. That comes in during Harambe. It comes in with the integrated reading curriculum. It comes in with our enrichments and asking our parents what are their kids learning. Scholar leadership and voice that comes in every single one of those aspects as well, and I'm going to get into it in some of the slides coming up. Accelerated academic growth. We do all the things that have to do with Freedom Schools, Harambe, and all of that, but we also focus every day on homework and skill building and making sure that our kids are focusing on the things that they're focusing on during the school day in smaller groups and being able to help them and tutor them wherever they need. We ask our families to let us know where they feel their students need that additional help or support. And that doesn't necessarily always mean my kid needs extra help when it comes to math homework or English homework. Yes, sometimes it is that, but other times parents will come to us and let us know, my child is having a hard time making friends. Like at the playground, they tell me that during the school day, they have a really hard time coming up to kids and letting them know that they want to play with them, or just letting kids know in general that they want to have a conversation with them or building those relationships. And that's where we come in and help them not only be able to do it in our program, but build the skills that they need to be able to do it during their regular school day, during their recess and classroom time and things like that. We also have a peer mentoring big buddy, little buddy group. And this is something that is something we provide to all of our students. And we let them know that by them showing us their leadership skills and accountability skills during our regular, while their team leads are teaching or going over things, when we see those leadership skills within them, then we set them up to be a big buddy or a little buddy. And that can happen throughout the day. That could be during Harambe, that could be during IRC, that could be during homework time. And you can see some of those pictures here, and it's worked great, not just giving that student the opportunity to feel like a big buddy or feel like a little buddy, but it also makes them so much more excited to sit there and do whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing. Whether it's reading a book, they're more excited now because they're either reading it to their big buddy or reading it to their little buddy. We've had them work together during like their enrichments, and a really cute story for me was our students were working on projects for the science fair, and we had a student working on hydroponics and growing a plant in water. And there was like the question came up of why the plant would grow better in certain conditions versus other conditions. And the little buddy actually mentioned, because if we didn't have sunlight, we would be sad. If we were sitting in a dark room all the time, we would be sad, and we like we wouldn't want to grow, like we wouldn't want to do anything. So the plant wouldn't. And that was to me such a cute moment because we got to like we get to see real life. Like we know that our little buddies can teach our big buddies, but we got to see it in real time. Like we got to see how who we think is our older student and would be teaching our little student was actually the other way around. And that was really cute. And we see moments like that all the time, but it's just so precious. That was a story that I just felt like was too cute not to share. Um, but moving forward to our enrichments and the impact that we feel that they're having on our scholars and our families. This goes into those enrichments that I mentioned before. Um, we recently started a choir. Many of you may have seen our students perform at the Black History dinner, your guys' district dinner. They've been really enjoying that. It's a new club or a new activity for them, and they've been having a blast. All of our kiddos, all the way from kinder to 6th grade, have been participating in that and practicing that and being excited about that. We have our social emotional learning club that I mentioned, and this club has also, when you hear the name, you might think like social emotional learning, and then we have it for that club is for our TK through 2nd graders. So you think like social emotional learning for TK through 2nd graders, like what do you guys do? It's a really cute club. Every day is different. Some days it's art activity, some days it's journaling, some days it's taking a walk. They've done sensory walks where they go outside and just listen and then come back inside and either have an open discussion of how, like, what did they hear, what did they see, how did it make them feel, how was it different from their regular, like they'll walk the hallway that they walk every day during school, how did it make them feel, what was that different about that versus when they walk it every day, what did they notice that they didn't notice, that they don't notice every day when they walk that same hallway. They've done activities where they get a piece of paper a certain color and they just have to sit there and look at it and be still for a moment and then explain what went through your head when you got that piece of paper. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think the activity was? And then at the end, express how that color makes them feel, why it makes them feel that way, draw what they think when they see that color. And there's no rules to it. And I feel that for a lot of our students, they're not used to that stillness. They feel at first like that stillness doesn't have purpose, and then over time they start finding that purpose within the stillness. So it's been really excited to see them learn and grow with that club. One of our longest running clubs, and it's going to be a continuous club because our students enjoy it so much, and it ties so well with what Roberts Family Development Center is our cultural club. And that one's just an opportunity for our students to learn about different cultures, and a lot of times they have say in what those cultures are, so they get to vote on or express who they would like to learn about or what they would like to learn about, or it could be any random thing, and then they will tie it back to the history of that or why that ties into culture in some way, shape, or form. Today our students actually had a field trip to the Sacramento History Museum, and it was very cute. And I don't know, it was a really proud moment for me when they were going over James Hemings and a lot of, they were specifically talking about ice cream and the part that he had when it came to the ice cream that we know and love today. And a lot of our students are sitting there, they're sitting quietly, but they were so excited. They're like looking around at us, seeing if they can share, and we see their little faces and we're like, raise your hand. And so many of them got so excited to raise their hand and share with our leads at the museum that they were learning about him, and they were actually working on projects that had to do with him and what they had learned about him. And they not only shared that when it comes to that, they've done art projects, they've done science projects. So even though we have our clubs that are a certain topic, they end up tying in a little bit to everything. And like just the impact that that has, or the way that it helps them tie all that back is just, it's been so fun to see and watch real time. And STEM club as well, we have a STEM club where we've done engineering activities, but sometimes it ties back into our culture club. um, Sometimes it ties back into our social emotional learning club. And then we either, there are times when we keep them separate, there are times when that helps bring the kids of different grade levels together because all our clubs are by grade level. But overall, the resulting impact of that is that we're increasing that academic confidence and that strong peer relationship. The biggest thing that I've seen grow within our students is that peer relationship, that they feel comfortable not just with their peers within their same grade level or their same enrichment clubs, but also their younger peers and their older peers, and they're very open to helping them, open to being a part of activities with them, and that's been really great to see. Experiential learning beyond the classroom, and this is a little bit about what I was talking about today. We've had multiple field trips this year. These are some pictures of our students going to the skating rink. This was a game at Sac State. Today they were at a museum, and with almost every single one of these experiences that we've taken our students to, we hear our students say, "I've never gone to a sports game. This is my first time going to a sports game. I've never gone skating, or I've always been scared to try skating, but I wasn't as scared because my friends were here, or I just want to go, but I don't want to skate." And then you see them trying to skate. So that's been really exciting to see. That's been it's broadening their horizons. It's giving them opportunities that they haven't had before. It's building confidence, lasting memories, and we love to see it. Employment pathways past Robla. We have a picture here of one of our team leads, Miss Mosley, who was actually one of our, she was a student at RFDC. And this just kind of ties back together how we have a pipeline from our student, our work doesn't just end with our students that we're working with now. A lot of them grow up and decide that the impact that somebody else had on them, they wanted to continue to have. And then we get to have the opportunity to work with them through our pipeline model. And now they get to make a difference. She's at Glenwood, and she's doing our current STEM club. But we all, she's not the only one. We have in RFDC, we have a lot, but at our Robla schools, she is one of our people from our pipeline model. We help with personal and career development, not just daily at site, but at our RFDC main center. We have college and career exposure through our program involvement with a lot of our field trips to colleges, museums, and things like that. Those are sometimes first times for a lot of our staff as well. And we have paid classroom trainings and experience. Thank you all so much for your continued support and partnership, and I'm very happy to be part of your Robla family.
Any questions or comments?
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing. All right. And last but not least, we have Right at School.
Good evening, Board President, trustees, Superintendent Chen, and Robla community. Thank you so much for having us tonight. My name is Dr. Kate Vincent, and I am a researcher, practitioner, and leader in the expanded learning space. I serve as the Executive Director of Right at School California and have the privilege of overseeing all of our expanded learning partnerships across the state. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be here with you tonight to share a little bit about our first semester here in Robla, and I'm joined by two local leaders who are closely connected to the day-to-day work on your campuses. Regional Manager for Right at School, Wendy Vanderpoort, who supports programs across the greater Sacramento Valley and brings over 30 years of education and child care experience to collaborative school and district partnerships. I'm also joined by Area Manager Daniel Davidson, who has been helping run our programs locally for over 3 years. Both Wendy and Daniel bring backgrounds in education that contribute to not only the curriculum that we create, but the opportunities we build for our employees. We know that Robla's mission is grounded in providing a safe, caring, and peaceful place where every student can succeed, supported by meaningful learning and strong partnerships with Robla families. That aligns directly with our mission at Right at School, which is to inspire a love of learning, support schools, and give families peace of mind. Together, we're building thoughtful, confident, and responsible citizens through safe, joyful, and engaging enrichment programs. Tonight, we wanted to cover 3 critical metrics from our launch here in Robla. So we'll share a little bit about what families and principals are saying in their feedback. We'll highlight our enrollment, and then we'll talk through some initiatives that we've implemented so far, including local hiring to expand access for Robla students and positively impact your community. So Daniel, I'll hand it over to you to share a little bit about our enrollment and first semester launch metrics.
Hello, everyone. So I'm very happy to be here with you. We launched at the top of this school year with fall of 2025, and we're off to a really strong start. We are currently serving 181 Robla students across 5 schools. You can see the breakdown here that we have 38 at Bell, 33 at Glenwood, 38 at Maine, 35 at Robla, and 37 at Taylor. Our enrollments here are all grade levels, which is broken down by 23% TK and kindergarten, 13% in first grade, 11% in second grade, 9% in third grade, 15% in fourth grade, 15% in fifth grade, and 13% in sixth grade. We also serve students with some special and unique needs, which makes out about 3% of the participating students who are entitled to special education services. We're proud of what we've accomplished so far this first year, and we also pay close attention to our partner experience. During our launch, 4 out of the 5 Robla principals rated our fall launch as excellent, with the other rating it as great. What this tells us is our foundational systems are working. Now, numbers matter, but lived experience matters just as much. So next, we want to share what our families are telling us. So here's Wendy for that.
Thank you, Daniel. Good evening, everyone. When families choose an after-school program, they are placing a lot of trust in the adults on campus. We take that responsibility seriously. Over the past few months, we have consistently heard 3 themes from Robla families: caring relationships, attentiveness, and kids genuinely want to be there. We conducted family surveys in August and December to gather feedback from Robla parents and caregivers. We want you to hear the voice of families from your community. Families shared appreciation for staff members and called out their attentiveness and compassion. Another parent said their child would love to stay all day and that our team must be doing something awesome. We also heard families describe staff as nice and caring, and one parent shared that our team helped their child adjust to a new school and community. That last comment really resonated with us. Helping a child feel safe, seen, and like they belong after the school day is at the heart of our work. That is the foundation that allows learning, confidence, and positive behavior to grow. When students arrive to our program after school, in Robla, we currently offer after-school, spring break camp, and summer camp. Students participate in after-school daily from dismissal until 6 p.m. to align with the ELOP 9-hour requirements, school day. Spring break and summer camp operate for 9 hours as well. During these programs, students participate in structured standards, aligned activities across our key components with social emotional learning embedded throughout. Across Right at School, and more broadly, we also offer before school, day off campus winter break camps and recess programming. I share this because we're committed to building systems that support students and families all year long. Next, we want to give you a preview of what a typical day after school looks like for Robla students. Pass it to you, Kate.
Thanks, Wendy. So when students arrive to our program after school, they participate in some intentionally designed learning experiences that are safe, joyful, and standards aligned. We also really strive for balanced programming. So what that means to us is that students can explore a variety of enrichment experiences from science to engineering to art to music to language to physical fitness. Our learning focus areas emphasize critical thinking, social emotional learning, language and culture, problem solving, literacy, oh, thanks, Wen, and art across each of our content areas. For us, that shows up as a predictable student-friendly daily structure, which you can see here. We kick off every day with town hall, which serves as our student circle and is often led by our junior educators, who are our 5th and 6th grade students that have the opportunity to facilitate that time for the younger learners in their group. From there, we move on to Right Moves, a fitness blast that allows kids to get the wiggles out after the school day before they engage in more structured learning. We dig into language adventures where students are exposed to not only foreign language, but also culture. This year, our focus is on French as each student completes a passport to Paris. From there, we move into our flexible enrichment block where students rotate between standards aligned stations. They also participate in homework help and engage in team sports and outdoor play. A phrase we use a lot at Right at School is disguised learning. So when that school bell rings, kids don't want to do exactly what they did during the day in their classrooms, right? They want to be with their friends, they want to have fun, but they want it to feel different than the school day, even though the goals, focus, and mission are ultimately the same. So our job is to find fun, new, and innovative ways for students to move, create, collaborate, experiment, and belong. So we intentionally design experiences where learning is happening through projects, play, and student voice. This year, our curriculum scope and sequence includes 19 hands-on learning journeys that bring that idea to life. We're certainly happy to provide a more detailed curriculum scope and sequence for you to review as well. But in the photos throughout this presentation, you're seeing our Robla students doing exactly this work. So they're using their design thinking to build structures out of found materials. They're practicing the scientific method as they make predictions and test ideas. They're designing and creating toys as part of our December Toy Lab, and they're expressing themselves through art projects and music. Now, none of this would be possible without the incredible folks who are leading this work, our educators. So next, I want to share a little bit about how we train and or have trained and retained a strong team here in Robla. We hire locally from the community and invest in ongoing development for every member of our team. Right now, we have 19 Robla RAS staff serving our 5 sites, and we've maintained 95% retention since we opened our doors in August. Each site is led by a dedicated program manager. So in Robla, shout out to our amazing program managers. They're watching online: Alex, Denise, Rhodey, Diana, and Bernie. We also want to highlight retention because one of the things the research tells us is those consistent relationships with adults are the #1 learning accelerator. And when students have the opportunity to build those consistent relationships, that's what drives positive engagement and pro-social behavior. To retain and develop great staff, we implement systems that cultivate educator effectiveness. One of the things that sets Right at School apart is that we provide job-embedded training and coaching from a dedicated Robla educational support specialist who is a master's in school psychology student and brings a background in special education. She visits each Robla program and provides hands-on, on-site, in-the-moment training for staff so that they can support students with unique behavioral needs as well as improve their classroom management skills. She also focuses on integrating with each school's PBIS framework and helping our junior educators build their peer mentorship capacities. Additionally, we provide opportunities for paid on-demand training for continuous development of our staff. Again, our focus here in Robla is to not only build an engaging student culture, but to build an engaging educator culture, because we really know that the stronger our people are, the stronger our partnerships are, the stronger our program is. As we look forward, our focus is to keep strengthening our program quality, deepen the partnerships that we're building with our principals, and increase family engagement to really cultivate a learning ecosystem. That starts with every student, every site, every staff member, every day. We are really proud of our strong launch, serving over 180 students across our 5 sites, and the positive feedback that we've heard from families and principals. Moving forward, our commitment is to keep doing the work that we believe matters most: keeping students safe, keeping programs joyful and engaging, continuing to focus on quality improvement, both with regards to program quality, as outlined in the CAN framework, and in terms of strong site leadership through family engagement. We want to continue to partner with our building principals and district leaders so our local staff can support what's happening at the district and building level to truly integrate ourselves into the fabric of each school. Robla Elementary is not the same as Maine, is not the same as Bell Avenue. And what makes our students, our programs, our staff, our relationships so special is when we can really be part of each school's unique culture. If questions come up after tonight, you can reach me directly, connect with Wendy or Daniel as well. We want to thank you for your partnership. It has truly been an honor this first semester, and we are just so grateful to learn with and be part of your community. Thank you for having us.
Questions?
I just have one similar question that I thinking about, like the feedback that you're getting from parents. I appreciate having the quotes in here, but wondering, like, what does that have you all been experiencing survey fatigue as well, or if parents are responding to the feedback?
Yeah, I actually pulled those numbers for you. So we had like a response saturation rate at every school site in both August and September based on enrollment. So we're looking for at least 20% of enrolled families to respond. We achieved that number at every site, and our response rate increased from August to December. So that shows us that as we build more relationships with families, stronger relationships with families, they get to know us and our team, they're more likely to participate and share that genuine feedback. So that's the first piece. The second piece is that we also do an annual spring survey that we put out to all families. That survey window is open right now. And we have had, Daniel, we just pulled those exact numbers. We are at a response rate of 14% in Robla on day 3, and that survey window runs through next Friday, March 9th. So we'll do 3 more outreaches to families via email, and then we have on-site flyers, and we'll connect with them after school as well to encourage participation. So yeah, I think we've seen participation rates be relatively strong, but we've definitely seen them climb. That's not atypical. Sometimes when you're new to a district or community, families may be a little leery to share their experience, or you might get inundated with either like a small number of positive or negative responses. That wasn't what we saw here. We saw survey results reach that saturation point in the fall, and then come even higher in December, and hopefully even higher this spring. And we'd love to share the results of that that survey with you too. Yeah.
And I have just, like, I guess a comment for superintendent. Like, I'm wondering if there is some synergy that we can do with all the after-school programs. Like, can we take all the kids to the museum? Can we take all the kids to the baseball game, or whatever the case is? Like, is there an opportunity for like cross collaboration between the different programs.
That's a great suggestion that I'll suggest to Mr. Vakis.
And, I've been looking forward to this night for a while, since that one long contentious meeting way back when people thought we were getting rid of programs. To even your plans, Superintendent Chen, I'll be honest, when you told me your plans to expand and how much, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But I'm always willing to try new things, so I was like, okay, let's see. Yeah, I love this. And the numbers tell the story. I mean, the numbers are there. I mean, yeah, you clearly saw a need that we weren't addressing and try to figure out a way of addressing those needs. And those numbers are really astonishing. But more than that, they tell a story. They tell a story of, excuse me, what happens when we have our programs here and how they're able to grow, such as START and their excellent communication system and how that has grown, and RFDC and their parent empowerment dinners and their speakers and stuff. So, what happens when you have that longevity and you get to grow. But they also tell the story of when you do expand, you do meet the needs of the parents. I mean, like, I'm astounded that we thought we would have about 100 or so in our AM program, and we doubled that enrollment. And with all the breadth of the programs that we've seen tonight, show that we're addressing, we're giving our parents and our kids all that flexibility, all ways to address their needs as they see it. Not just, hey, here's a program, go do it, but really giving them the flexibility. So I was looking forward to this evening, and I absolutely love all the information that I've heard tonight.
Yeah, I want to chime in on that as well. And this is really kind of feedback for all of the providers. One, I just want to say thank you for serving our students. You can tell from the presentations that at each and every organization has placed a big emphasis on relationship, on identifying and really getting to know Robla culture, getting to know our families, getting to know what's important here. I appreciate how you've incorporated our priorities in your presentations. That's something that's very, very important to us. We call ourselves the Robla family because once again, we share those, I'll just call them family values. I appreciated how communication played a big role in all of your presentations, and especially as it pertains to flexibility, meeting the needs of our scholars. And it's nice to see that even those providers who've been with us for a while are still providing that communication, still providing that flexibility, and being there once again and meeting the needs. We're going to be looking for a lot of communication with you because just like you're learning the district, just like you're learning our schools, we're learning you. We're learning about what you're providing. We're going to be looking at what's successful and what's meeting the needs of our students, and not just socially, emotionally, but also academically. Our kids need help. They do. When we came back and we saw what happened after 5 years, when we saw what happened after COVID closed downs, and we saw 5 years of gains lost. And we know that we in and of ourselves can't meet that need. We need your help to do that. And so once again, I appreciate you communicating and working with us and working with our families. With that note, one of the things I wanted to ask, and this is obviously, we've just started, so we don't have any sort of data, a whole lot of data or anything to go by, but would love to be able, if there's a way to segment data regarding those scholars who are involved or participate in our extended learning programs and those who don't, and just kind of seeing, both behaviorally as well as academically what the differences are. That'd be really, really good. You look like I'm like you're already ahead of me.
I
like
agree. I agree. And I am a data person, and I am exploring platforms as our current platforms are areas of opportunities that we can improve so I can get data more quickly.
Right. Once again, thank you to, okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on now to action items. We're start off with item A, adopt dismissal of certain certificated probationary employees, resolution number 939.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. Those who are in favor say aye. Those who are opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona? Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Item C, approve the 2025-26 Comprehensive School Safety Plan.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Trustee Cardona? Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Now we're on to section 7, board member requests for future agenda items or reports. Trustee Cardona. Okay. Trustee Barnes?
None.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Not a presentation, but maybe just a report out on where we are with our facilities master plan.
And Trustee Deleuze has none. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.